adversity than you do from success. And so he told us what he thought you guys learned, and he learned on Saturday. I'm interested in what you learned personally.
Well, what I learned from an individual perspective, I know last year, 2 interceptions would have absolutely put me in the tank. I mean, I think back to South Carolina last year, which wasn't a great showing by any means, but I just kind of folded my cards and, said, Mark, please, take it from here. But this year, I battled. I felt back through it, and they made a couple good plays on us, and a couple ill-advised decisions. But that's part of the game. You look around the country, guys throw picks. Some of the best players. Look at Brett Favre. He threw 2 picks yesterday, but the guy keeps fighting. It doesn't matter, and that's one thing I really learned about myself, in the fact that I didn't let the picks get me down. I kept playing, and in the second half, when we needed it, we made the plays that needed to be made. So I was really encouraged by my own individual performance. As a team, though, I think everybody is really, really encouraged by the fact that we just kept fighting. They scored 2 plays into the game, and no one was faced. Everyone said, okay, that's all right. We expected them to have a high-powered offense, and we understand that it's not where you start the game, it's where you finish the game. So we showed a lot of character. I think we showed a lot of poise, and we showed a lot of toughness in fighting back. So I think everybody's really encouraged and hoping to build off of our performance last week.
How important was the deep ball in keeping them honest? We knew you could run the ball.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it was important. I think, there's a couple that we were pretty close on. We had a pass interference call on a deep one, and they kind of got Julio a little bit off balance. But, it's important to keep those guys off you a little bit. Anytime we have a running game like we have, you have to be able to hit your shots deep. So there were a couple we missed. There's a couple, that we probably could have had. But looking back on it, I actually felt like it was a pretty good game. I felt pretty strongly about our performance offensively, and a couple plays here and there, it could have been a totally different ball game. But the fact that we didn't necessarily make those plays, but we were still able to get a victory is really encouraging.
Has there been a moment when you've been just in shock at how quickly Mark Ingram has been able to recover and how effective he was Saturday?
Well, I don't think I've ever been in shock. I mean, I've never doubted what Mark can do. He has great ability, and he does a great job with the ball in his hands. So we all anticipated him having a great year this year. He had a great offseason. He had a great spring. He's worked extremely hard to get back from this recent knee injury, but it hasn't slowed him down at all. His mindset's been good, and he's come out and ran the ball with a purpose, and I think that's really what Mark brings to the team, and it's just his spirit and his leadership, and having him in the huddle is definitely a vital asset.
When you talked about throwing interceptions, to have success, you can't be afraid of failure. Is that something?
Well, absolutely. I think with a certain amount of confidence and a certain amount of understanding, there's been times this year when I've thrown the ball that last year I would have checked it down. There's been times when I've given my receivers an opportunity to make a play, and sometimes the defense makes plays. Those guys are on scholarship too. So, you can't let interceptions get you down. They're part of the game. Obviously, there's something that you don't want to have in your offense. But this year, if we're going to be able to, reap the benefits and have the amount of success our offense is capable of having, sometimes you're going to have to force some tight throws, and that's just the nature of the beast. But fortunately, those interceptions didn't really come into play. We were fortunate enough to get out of it with a win, and I was really encouraged by the way that we just battled. It was really a tale of 2 halves, and especially in the fourth quarter. When the plays were there to be made, we made them as an offense, and we did what we had to do. Like I said, just last year to this year, I think just our confidence has grown so much, understanding that it's not what you do in the first half, it's how you finish the game at the end. So the fact that we were able to go and move the ball effectively through the air in the second half and make as many third downs as we did, which was really a telltale sign in the game. I think if you look at the time of possession, we were like 11 minutes to 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, which is remarkable. It really is. So I think a lot of that is because of our third down conversions and our ability to move the ball both through the air and on the ground. So we're learning from that. Hopefully it'll carry over into this week.
Greg, is that what separates the #1 team from the other teams in America? The fact that you don't panic, that you have that calmness about you when you're up against the wall like that?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily something that separates the #1 team from the 4 team or the 10 team or the 20 team, whatever. I don't think it's necessarily a ranking perspective, but it just shows the heart of this team. It shows the fact that we're winners. We have a mindset and an expectation of winning every time we step out there on Saturday. So, the fact that we never got panicked, and I think that's a real testament to our leadership. We had a lot of guys step up at halftime and say things, and we had a lot of guys in the huddles, just maintaining calm. If I stepped into the huddle, I didn't see one face with any sort of panic, with any sort of negative look. And I think, everyone remained calm, cool, and collected, which is a big reason why we're able to make the plays that we did down the stretch in order to win the game.
Do you expect there to be a carryover into this week?
Well, I think so. Anytime you get tested like that, I think that that it really builds character, and I think that it obviously gave us confidence that we did not play our best game, and we played a very, very good opponent, and both that's offensively, defensively, even in the special teams, we just did not play our best game, and I think everybody understands that. But the fact that we're still able to get a win against a top 10 team on the road really gives a lot of people confidence. So. Arkansas is a very good football team this year. They're going to win a lot of football games, and they definitely put a lot of emphasis on this game, and you could tell by the way they came out and played. So I think that it should carry over. I think that everyone's really looking forward to the challenge that we have this week with Florida, and hopefully the things that we learned on Saturday, not only about ourselves but about the type of competitors we are, should definitely help us in the long run.
Greg, talk about their secondary. They've had a few pick sixes already this year.
Well, the secondary looks good. I mean, it's a lot of the same players as last year. I know Ahmad and Janoris and Will are back. It should be a great test for us. But I think that as long as we continue to execute the way we've been doing, I think we should be able to have some success.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, guys.